Happy home opener eve to everyone out there and to everyone that celebrates here in the city of Cleveland and beyond, Northeast Ohio, and even further than that. I'm Kevin Earl. He is Ryan Mosser. This is the voice of the land. I don't know that we can say on what just yet. I think we'll do that probably next week, especially when we can give more time to it, because this will be a shorter episode as it is, but there are things in the works. I forgot to turn in I didn't realize I got an email from Peter that he needed a headshot for what we're doing. So I just sent that today. For some reason, my notifications for my regular email are not set up on my phone right now, Ryan, and I don't know. I don't know why.
Gotta get that fixed.
I think it was something with WWE, because like you get like emails and stuff, and like some of the emails like say like a spoiler in it. So like I turned off everything that even mentions, at one point, and I'd never remembered to turn them back on.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how it is. But we are the voice of the land. We are brought to you by the great people at Greeny Sports Cards. GreenySportsCards.com, best way to find out, and they'll have all the links out to what they do, their shows, all of that. The big one is coming up
Yep.
shortly. It is April 10th through the 12th, so that's next weekend. Great Lakes Collectors Convention, alongside of the, and I'm sorry if I say the name wrong, but it's the Strongsville Card Collectors, or Sports Cards, something. Strongsville's group there. They're doing basically two shows in one, and it is going
Nice.
to be a big event, and people get out there, support them, and make sure to tune in live on Tuesday nights. But Ryan, I mean, they are just great people.
Yeah. Yep. Steve is just wonderful. And I'm really lucky to just be partnered with Greenies for sure. So
Yeah, so no talks of us being out there as of yet, but maybe try to at least attend one of the days, maybe on Sunday, because I got a chance to actually interview some pro wrestlers today for TNA, and they have a show coming up. I think that Saturday night at Cleveland State. So I might be taking the family to that night.
ooh,
So
nice. That's
yeah,
awesome.
a few local people in there, and so might go check that out. Another promotion with TNA. They are, I mean, WWE bought them, so
Yep.
I'm boring everybody that tunes into this right now that's not a pro wrestling fan. But I think I know a lot of people probably want us to start, Ryan, and maybe you want me to start here, and completely stop me and start here if you want to. But to start and talk Browns and football and all of those things, I don't know. Like I've been at this point, but I understand the industry. I understand what goes on with all of this stuff that like Browns talk does drive viewership and all of that. I've never really been about that. I hope people, if they tune in, they are tuning in because they just enjoy the conversation. They enjoy how we approach things.
Right.
Um, Look, now we just started April. We'll have the draft at the end. We'll have more prospects as we go forward. We'll break down the draft after it happens, because of course I will be working that night. So Ryan, you'll be able to do some other stuff with draft, I think, with
Yep.
Inside the Edge and all that type of stuff that night. But like we're just saying the same things, and now we're at the point, right, where it's Deshaun Watson is the leader in the clubhouse to be the quarterback. Nobody has set foot in actual practices where coaches can coach, and we're trying to do this. Guess what? Next month it's going to be somehow Dylan Gabriel is going to enter the conversation.
Yeah.
And then in June, when they finish up mini camp, somehow we're going to revert back to Shador, and then we're just going to keep going on this cycle and cycle. Like nothing is going to be determined until, I guess they want a starting quarterback in training camp, like a designated starting quarterback, but that can change even in training camp. Like
Right.
I don't know, Ryan. Like I don't feel like I need to like keep going on this hamster wheel of this conversation, because I'll say this, and this is going to be very poignant, and you can feel free to disagree. I'm going to say it. I'm going to leave it to you on
Okay.
how, if Deshaun Watson is the starter, name the starter for week one, and however long that goes. If that were to happen, I promise you right now, I will at least know what's happening with the team and how things went, but I will not be watching and I will not be listening.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's fair. I mean, I mean, I 2 years ago when I said, "Oh, if he ever takes a snap in the NFL again, especially in the Browns, I won't watch as well." I get it. I saw the leaf beyond the, or I don't even know the expression. I don't know. I've saw this coming a mile away. I warned people months ago that Deshaun Watson is the guy who was in Houston fits Todd Monken's system perfectly. And if there's any glimpse of that guy back, it's ever again, it's going to be now. I'm not saying that that's going to be the case. I'm not necessarily rooting for it, but that is logical, reasoning that he has the right to work. And for all the Shador lovers, I hope he's the guy too. But I've been beating this like a dead drum or beating this like a drum or a dead horse. You take none whatever. But
Yeah, let's stick to the drum.
yeah, yeah. He hasn't earned anything, man. He showed flashes, but yes, of course there were things going against him. We had no receivers. Our offensive line was abysmal. But he hasn't proven anything. He hasn't proven that he is going to be the starter for the Browns in 2026. So it's going to be a quarterback competition. I expect there to be an external quarterback as well, someone that's not in the building today. Maybe that's through the draft, maybe that's through free agency or a trade. Not necessarily a big name, but just another body in there that they hope that they can, get a spark or, catch a lightning in a bottle with. If Watson is a quarterback, I'm gonna watch. Yeah, of course.
The only way they'll be on my TV is when Scott Hansen is throwing it to their game where someone's in the red zone, because I will be watching more NFL red zone than I will be watching Browns football at that point. I'll just say it that way. To technically hedge my bets, like I feel like, but and I want it to be very clear, and I don't think people make this clear all the time. Like, we are both on the same page that yeah, we would like to see Shador get a chance, but he hasn't earned it yet.
Right.
I think people that don't like Shador thinks that he said that he has earned it and that he should be the number. He hasn't said that either. Like, he knows that, and that why do you think he's in Cleveland? Time and time again. Like, people are saying, "Oh, well, he's in Texas. He's not in Cleveland." Well, yeah, he went to go back and visit his family. I'm watching videos of him finally having a full family dinner out and about. When he's like okay, like family still matters more, people. Like, family still matters, but Todd Monken told you, like, he doesn't BS you.
Yeah.
And Todd Monken will tell you the actual word that BS stands for, because he doesn't care, and he is unfiltered and it's just great, makes for great content. That, like, he's not blowing smoke up your ass telling you that he's in there a lot. Like,
it's so refreshing though. Can I just add that, like,
Yeah.
compared to what Kevin Stefanski has given us or hasn't given us for the past 7 years, man, how refreshing is it just for a guy who's just gonna he sounds like a defensive coordinator. It's crazy that he's offensive guy, but usually the defensive guys are the ones that are quick with the tongue. But nonetheless, it is just refreshing and kind of fun to hear. He probably shouldn't be saying things like Shador's been here all summer, or not summer, all for the past few months, but Dylan Gabriel, I haven't seen him in the building at all. Probably shouldn't say things like that, but as a fan, I love it. There's accountability, and at least we get a little bit of a glimpse of what it's like inside the building that we haven't had in a long time. So,
my light just went out. Oh my goodness, my light. Somehow I like moved my foot like an inch, and it hit the plug and pulled the USB cord out of my ring light. I have no idea how that just happened. Don't really care. But yeah, like you said, like, Todd Monk is just sending a message to Dylan Gabriel. That's not to say Dylan's not working out. Sure. You see Deshaun working out. He's not in the building. It's all going to come down to what they do when, what are you doing when nobody's looking? And only Todd Monken's looking. What are you doing in that case? Only time will tell. The one football thing that I definitely wanted to highlight, and it's kind of an overarching view of the day on April 2nd, 2026. It is World Autism Awareness Day. And, while I was at work, NFL Live was on the TV, and you have, at least the second straight year that I've seen it. I don't know if it's happened more years than this, but Dan Orlovsky's son, who, is autistic, in one aspect of the spectrum, he brings his son on, and his son, like, draws all of the logos for all of the teams, and they use all of his drawings. Like when they bring up a player with the team logo, it's his drawing, not the official team logo. Like they have Devonte Smith sent him a message and sent him a care package. He's on TV, and at the end, like I almost like lost it as a parent because he's Madden, his son Madden is talking to the camera and saying, I love my mom, I love my siblings, I love what you guys do for like these like great messages and stuff like that. And, like I don't like moments like that. Like that's when you know that even at the highest pinnacle, ESPN supposed to be the worldwide leader of sports. We say it here all the time, and like that was a great example today. Like there are things that matter more than just sports. Sports are our escape.
Right.
I don't tell you don't I don't say at the end of the show don't let anyone tell you it's just a game because I think that sports is the only thing in the world that matters. No. That's a message about passion and following it. And I've told the story many times. My family used to tell me don't, it's just a game because I'd be upset that my team lost. Well, it was more to me than that. And I was passionate about sports. And basically telling me like your passion doesn't matter. Everybody's passion matters.
Yep.
Everybody's passion matters. But there are always going to be things that matter more than our passions. And that is always going to be family. And it was a special moment. Ryan, I don't know if you saw it or not. Go back on, just go on X, when you have some free time, which I know you have very little of. um, but just look up NFL Live on X, and there's plenty of videos of it. And it was just a special day. And we were at work. We were wearing blue today for light up blue for autism awareness. And I think that it's good that people do these things to bring up, just because it's a person with a disability, it doesn't mean that they don't have any other abilities. And I think it makes sure to highlight those and inspired those that may be dealing with the same kind of situation as Madden and family situation that the Orlovskis go through and have helped to raise Madden in this type of regard, to inspire them and show them that like a lot of things are possible in this world, and you just have to go out there and do it.
That's really cool. I haven't seen that, but I'll definitely check it out. That's really cool.
Yeah. I just want to make sure we spotlighted that. But you see the flag over my head here.
Yep.
It's home opener tomorrow. Guardians. We gotta touch on them. It's not just like, oh, let's just throw them in for 2 minutes, Rod. Like I definitely want to spend a little time here
Sure.
on it. Now, I'm not gonna overreact. I know not to overreact, but you can't just push away being 4-3 coming out of the road trip that they had to start with when these guys have been on the West Coast for a long time now, since mid-February when they went to spring training and they were in Arizona, and they've been going through all this, and they had the breaks of the World Baseball Classic, and guys were in, guys were out, all those types of things, all of these teams, and then you go straight to facing the top contenders for the World Series, and the Mariners and the Dodgers, and you go 4-3. Like that's the type of start that you can feel good about, and know that this team isn't just all talk about like we think we can do big things. Like they have that ability. It's just how consistent can they be with what we just saw?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me not to overreact, man. I'm so excited. This is so fun. It's so fun. I mean, yeah.
It sets up the home opener for a great crowd reaction to everybody, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
That's gonna be an atmosphere. If you're not a part of it, that's a FOMO moment for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been to a few season openers and their home openers, and they're dude, so fun, so fun. I don't know. I just feel like they, like you said, they didn't really tiptoe through this season either. So far, they've kicked the door open, and I think that's really cool. It's a roster full of kids. A payroll that looks like a typo when you look at it compared to the Dodgers, and somehow Cleveland is, the team dictating the tone so far in these early weeks. They're playing, I think, with an edge, with urgency, with the kind of confidence that you usually see from veteran groups, and then they're all, like I said, they're all kids. Again, two of the toughest opponents in baseball. That's the craziest part too. Yeah. I don't think it's fluky though. I don't think it's accidental. This is a young team acting like it's tired of wasting their time and waiting for their turn. So I don't want to overreact. I'm trying to really press the brakes here, man. But this is so fun.
And are we going to see growing pains this year with the youth on this team? Absolutely, absolutely. And guess what? You know what's going to happen in those moments? I'm not saying this is you, Ryan. Like, because the overreaction right now, I think is, I can say warranted, and I think it's okay, especially going into what is tomorrow. Like
Right.
tomorrow again is the home opener. The crowd's gonna be sold out, but you don't want the crowd just going out there because it's a day that they can party and they can drink and all those types of things. Like we've seen those home openers before too. Like the crowd is loud when you get things started, and then it like 38,000 sound like two.
Right.
In those kind of cases, like this is a team that can be into it. I don't. I'll. I do get a chance to talk to Andre Knott later tonight doing our podcast for our other job, and so I'll figure out maybe if DeLauder's going to be available. I know people talked about him pacing the dugout yesterday
Yeah.
during that Dodgers game. So, and look, I know he's injury prone. Everybody freaked out about, like, oh, like told you this guy, like, the ones that said like, oh, he's not going to mount to anything because he's injury prone, and comparing him to Grady Sizemore. Look, you take a fastball or whatever pitch that was from Shohei Ohtani and you foul it off your foot, your
Right.
ankle. I think every single player that would have done that would have gone, would have hobbled down the line. Now, Angel Martinez got hit in the knee. I don't know if you saw that, right? Like
Yeah.
he took a pitch against Shohei and then a pitch last night to the knee or like the thigh area, and yeah, he stayed in there. But when you do have an injury history like Chase Lauder, and you want to be careful with that, like you feel like this is a core piece that you now want, and you want to keep him healthy. Of course, you're going to err more on the side of caution. I'm not saying that they don't care about Angel Martinez, but Angel Martinez has a lot of experience up here already too.
Right.
So like, and different situations, like where do you get hit, and like how does it feel, and all those types of things. Like people that think that every injury is made the same, right? Like those are the people just they frustrate the hell out of me. Like maybe that's my wife that's gotten into me and talking about this stuff when we see stuff on TV. And as a physical therapist, she goes like, "Oh yeah, that's such and such injury. Oh, it looks bad, but like that'll be okay." Like like if Chase DeLauder does play tomorrow, though, you're gonna hear "Country Roads" sung so loud.
Yep.
Like that's going to be a goosebump moment if he does play tomorrow and comes up to the plate with that sold out crowd. Like that is going to be something that only the people there are going to get to say that they saw, because you're not going to get the same feeling through the TV or the radio. I'm sorry, you're just not.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to play tomorrow. I mean, like nothing official or anything. I just, like I said, I have a feeling. I think he wants to be in that atmosphere. He's been eyeballing it. Like I said, he's pacing, waiting, itching to get in there. Even with the foot scare, man, I think his impact is so undeniable. It's so incredible to see, especially for a rookie this early. He's hitting for power, controlling at bats, carrying himself like someone who's been in the league for years. It doesn't help that every 3 weeks we have an injury scare or something that it could be. Obviously that's going to be the monkey on his shoulder and the fear of Guardians fans every single day until hopefully he's well into his career, a few years, and those are behind him. But nonetheless, even with this foot scare, undeniable. It's so cool to see. I think, like you said, Country Roads, in the home crowd, first game, it would be a picture perfect moment, and I think I have a feeling he's going to be there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Look, I mean, in school, I took while I was in school and like with my family, I took a few trips that like took me through out of Ohio through West Virginia and wherever we were going, whether it was Disney World or somewhere else. Like, because we had to take a bus to Disney World instead of flying as a marching band in high school, which 22 hours on a bus, not fun. But the first thing that we did when we saw the sign, what was it? Singing Country Roads, like. So everybody will hear that, and I think the crowd even did it in the playoffs last year a little bit. And if he's keeping that as his walk-up song, like everybody is going to be, that's like a goosebump type moment.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying that it's not like his injury history isn't a worry. Like it's definitely a worry of mine. I just like when I saw that, and I know he was taken out. Like you definitely want to hear like what does the test show and all of that.
Sure.
But like to say like it was made out to be that he was gonna like he's the only person that could be injured coming off of having something like that happen. I'm sorry, like that's not That's not the case. It's Shohei Ohtani, and with his unique swing, like, and if
Yeah,
you hit just right, like a lot of these guys, they have like the pads covering they have like a pad covering their shin or the top of their foot, that's kind of exposed to the pitcher. Man, oh man, that baseball hits like just in the right spot around that pad, like it's still going to hurt. Like if it hits a soft tissue spot, like in your thigh and stuff, yeah, the player stays in there. But do you think that there's just no pain? I'm sorry, like guys throwing 95, 96,
right.
97, even up to like 100 miles an hour, and that hits you, like, great, like your soft tissue is able to cushion the blow a little bit. Guess what happens when you go in the locker room and you're getting yourself ready to go home for the night or go back to the hotel for the night? Oh, there's a big old bruise on there, and you're getting it wrapped up and taking some medicine for it. So I wasn't as concerned as a lot of other people were in that particular case. But of course, there's the worry, and then, there's the worry with Bazana now that he showed that he is injury history and stuff. Telling you right now, Arias, if Bazana starts to hit down there um, in Columbus, Arias is going to be the one that's feeling that heat. Now he got that deep home run yesterday, straight to dead center. That's like over 420, over 430 feet.
Right.
But then he comes right back up and he's swinging at balls that are way out of the zone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I don't care if Arias finally ran into a baseball. To be honest, I don't care that Rocchio is fine at second. I don't care that service time games are I don't care about developmental timelines. None of that. I think that Travis Benzana needs to be here now.
Yeah.
I slide Rocchio to short. Let Benzana breathe life into the top of the order. This team I think is competing earlier than expected. I'm not trying to jump to big conclusions here. I'm not trying, but I don't think we should be wasting momentum. Great. It was a much needed hit that he had. It was very far, great, but like he's just very inconsistent for me. And I mean, with Travis Mazzana looming, it's only a matter of time. I just don't want to. I know we should have opened the roster with him, to be honest, but
you're gonna have to have at least one of Arias or Rocchio up here, like when Bazana's here,
right?
Like,
I would just put Rocchio to shortstop. So, yeah.
Now, I don't know if Juan Brito has played anything other than second as well. I'm not sure of that. I should know that. But like that was the thinking at second base last year was supposed to be Juan Brito. And then, for the first time in his career, he really dealt with some injuries and things like that. He had the fast rise through the system. So I don't know if he's able to play the other, play shortstop if Bazana's at second base. But for right now, I think, if Bazana comes up in a month or two, you're still going to have Rocchio or Arias playing that shortstop position.
For sure. Yeah.
So
I think that Rocchio at shortstop is cleanest for the defensive alignment anyway, especially if when Travis comes up. I think he looks more natural at short. I think Arias is a roller coaster. And the organization has been dancing around this for a year now. Slide Rocchio to short where he is natural at, plug Benzana at second, and stop pretending that this isn't the long-term plan, because this is going to be whether or not Rocchio gets beat out eventually anyway. But why are we waiting 2 months if this guy's going to be raking downing Columbus, or bring him up, man. I'm just it's always for the Guardians to play a little bit of games here and there with guys like this. So
yeah, and people are saying the offense looks like old school Guardians, like scoring 4 runs in the 2 wins against the Dodgers. Like if you're scoring 4 or more, like you're giving yourself a good chance to win with this pitching staff. Like I know it's been like either like 4 more or like nothing or 1 like in the first 7 games, but again, I heard like conversation about that, like people freaking out about the offense and stuff. Like right now, staying around the 500 mark it's not the best thing, but it's okay because it's we finished out March and we're starting April. Like you don't win divisions in April.
Yeah.
You don't. You can lose them though, or you can put yourself in I would say you put yourself closer to losing a division in April than you can putting yourself to win a division in April. Now, there's always going to be exceptions to that. There's always going to be like some fantastic historical start that, the Guardians just were like the first team to overcome. No, it was the largest deficit in the division last year. They overcame 15 and a half games. So, a team gets out to like 16, 17 game lead somehow in April, like historic like that. Yeah, there's exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, you're not going to win the division in the first month of the season. So I
Right.
think, doing what they're doing, and look, it's better than, oh, like they get shut out for the first 3 games in Seattle, and then like the last game they're scoring like 9 runs, 10 runs, and then the very next game they got nothing because they used it all, like the old adage.
Right.
Well, you guys should have saved some for the next day. There's some inconsistencies, but again, it's just 7 games at a 162. It's still it. You should still feel good though, and the people that are going to the game tomorrow should feel good and should bring the energy for this team because they've wanted to get back here. Jose Ramirez signed an extension here because he wants to be a lifetime Guardian and loves this city and probably will always have part of his life here in Cleveland because he loves it here. And he told the fans last night like they can't wait to get in front of the fans.
Yeah.
We know what happens in game 2 of the home slate of games in Cleveland with the weather and stuff. Now Friday and Saturday, nice weather. Kind like I know that there's some possible rain tomorrow, but I think around first pitch time, I think that it should be just south of here.
Right.
So I think by the lake, it might be a little cooler than the 70s, but you're still going to get some decent temperatures. And then it's Easter weekend, so I think maybe a couple good crowds this weekend in the 40s when Monday through Wednesday with the Royals. I'm sure those crowds are going to be lighter,
Sure.
but that's going to happen as the season goes on. This team continues to do what they're doing. Cleveland is smart enough; they will show up when it's just for some reason we only bear the elements for a crappy football team. We don't do it for a baseball team that's in contention. Different podcast, different day.
So true
No,
though. Even in my personal life, I'm not going to a baseball game in 40-degree weather, but I have no problem going to a crappy Browns game. Why is that? That's so weird.
maybe because there's more. Is it because there's more attire available that's warmer?
I guess.
Because like people that say like, oh well, people are drinking adult beverages and it's keeping them warm.
Sure.
Well, I mean, like that's what people do at a baseball game. Like you sit there, you talk, you take in the baseball game. You're eating a hot dog or a glizzy, if you want to you want to call it. Uh, I barely use that word.
I've never used that one.
I don't know. I've just started to hear it more and more, so I thought I could throw it in there. It didn't
There you
really
go.
work. Didn't
You're one
really
of the
hit.
cool kids now.
You live and you learn. No, that I'm sure. If anybody wanted the word glizzy to kind of continue and be
Yep.
cool, I
It's
just
no
kind of
longer cool. Yep.
right. I just ruined all that, so I'm sorry. But again, like that's so like the adult beverage thing like can't be an excuse because you can do that for both of them. Like you're not gonna tailgate before the game. You don't do that, but you can. People are gonna partake in that. I would do that responsibly as a PSA, and don't drive home. Don't drive yourself home if you overindulge at a game. Yeah, it is interesting that
Yeah.
we won't do it for a baseball game, but the team again, the team that just somehow finds a way to stay in contention long enough, keep your attention most of the season, if not all of it, and beyond. When a team that absolutely sucks and has ripped many hearts out especially since 1999, they kept the heart off to the side, never gave it back to you. We will sit out there for that. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Weird.
To each their own, I suppose. To each their own. But I do like where they're at. Another, I would say, one other player that needs to find the consistency this year in a different aspect than Arias. If Arias wants to keep a job, he's going to have to find some sort of consistency. This guy's not going to lose a job anytime soon, but Gavin Williams, everybody sees him as the ace. They think he's the ace. He's got better stuff. I don't think Tanner Bobby's that bad. I think that's a great number 2, but I also understand why they started him in game 1 based on what happened to him last year. And it's good that he was back right away after feeling that shoulder tightness against Seattle. But, it was Gavin Williams in the first game. First game he pitched in Seattle. A lot of walks.
Yeah.
A lot of walks. That's kind of been his like back and forth. Like this past game, was it, I think it was 9 or 10 strikeouts, very few walks, 2 or 3 walks in that game, go 7 innings in it as well, of shutout baseball. Like that's the guy that we want every time. Like basically every time he goes out. Now is he going to be a shutout type pitcher every time? No. Like hitters are like baseball players are too good to allow you to. Even Paul Skeens will give up a run here and there, and Scuba will give up runs here and there. But that's the type of consistency where it's more strikeouts than it is walks, or it's if you don't have the strikeout pitch that day, allowing the guys to hit to your defense, play it into, use your defenders behind you and you get ground balls and stuff like that. Like there's no shame in that. You have like 2 strikeouts and no walks at the end of the day, but you only give up 1 run and like 4 hits. Like there's nothing wrong with that over like a 7-8 inning game. There's nothing wrong with that to playing to your defense. I think that's what Gavin has to find this year.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider his first game more of a growing pains game. I mean, early he looked electric. I thought, but Seattle made the right adjustments and capitalized on a couple of obvious missed spots. Offensively, I think Cleveland could have definitely helped them. They had chances, traffic on the bases, long at bats, but they really couldn't get the big swing. I think these are the kind of games that you feel, the youth, they're competitive, they're close. It was still a 3-2 game, but missing that one veteran at bat or, just a few precise pitches. And then you talk about, obviously, Guardians Dodgers where he pitched. I think he planted a flag that one. It was the kind of performance that changes how, the league talks about a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously there needs to be consistency there. So
yes,
I'm going to lean hopefully on his first game. It was just some growing pains and hopefully this is the guy that we're going to see. Obviously it's just going to take a few more games, a few more sample sizes for us to see. But I loved what I saw against the Dodgers when he pitched. So
he looked more like the guy that helped close out the season,
yeah.
just like Tanner Bibee did, like when they were on their hot streaks and stuff like that. And yeah, you want to be playing your best ball at the end. And this isn't with Gabriel Arias. It's really like play has not matched up to what the talent was that's there. Gavin, like the talent is always there. It's about, going deeper into games, not taxing your bullpen, like finding that. Like he had a really good game against the Dodgers. Can you back that up in your next start? I don't care if it's shutout baseball or not. Can you go another 7 innings or like 6 2/3 and you're getting, I don't know if he'll get a chance to. He might get a chance to pitch at home. Like you get the fans tipping their cap and like giving you that type of thing. Like those, that's when you have an ace. Like when you're getting those type of moments more consistently, and that's just how this team can grow and be better. Like 7 games in, there's no one's gonna find their identity until Memorial Day. Everybody talks about that, right? Like you don't find your identity as a baseball team. If you don't find it by Memorial Day, then you got problems.
Right.
But it takes that amount of time to figure out like what type of baseball team do you want to be? Do you want to be that nitty gritty team that's running out and playing small ball? Do you want to be? Are you going to be a power hitting team? Or are you going to be based on just your pitchers? Well, the teams that will have a lot of success will find ways to implement a lot of those aspects into their game and be multidimensional.
Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to touch on before we go for the night, of course, is the Cavaliers, and we are close to the playoffs, which we've all been looking forward to. And boy, oh boy, is their defense questionable, to say the least. Their effort. Look, I know how talented this team is, right? I think the frustrating thing for me has always been whether it was JB Bickerstaff teams after they started to get talent. Darius Garland grew into his role and they traded for Donovan Mitchell. Like the only gripe that I've had, and this is through 2 coaches now, effort is not consistent. Your effort is not requested, it is required. If you're going to win in professional sports and especially in the NBA, to get out rebounded all the time or to see so many offensive rebounds and like you talk about how you're going to fix it and then your coach is calling you out in the media, not just in the locker room anymore. This team has got more bust coming to them than they do any sort of boom in the playoffs, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, the defensive just effort is awful, like you said. Honestly, at this point, I'm just kind of kind of hoping we just coast on into the Eastern Conference Finals, and if the door cracks open, we take it. I want to be the 4th seed in I don't want to dance around it. I'm not pretending to be noble. I am not apologizing for wanting the cleanest path possible for this team. I want the Cavaliers to be the 4th seed. I want to avoid Boston. I want to avoid New York as long as humanly possible. I'm absolutely ducking competition, and I don't care. I'm so tired of getting knocked out in the second round. I'm not saying it's a guarantee at all ever. Obviously, we saw that last year against the Pacers in the second round when we got boat raced after a dominant series against the Heat. But if it means that we have a better chance, I'm all for it. I don't think it's about pride. I think it's about progress, and it's about finally getting Donovan Mitchell past the second round before the clock hits 0, and it's on his time for him being in Cleveland. This is about giving the city another real shot at a championship. If the bracket gives you a runway, you got to take it. No shame, no guilt, no hesitation. I would love to be the 4th seed. I mean, the 4th seed gives you, round 1 against Orlando. I mean, yeah, they're a young team, they're talented, but they're definitely
Right now it's
beatable.
Atlanta, and Atlanta is surging. Right
Sure. Yeah,
now,
okay.
if the playoffs were to start today, that would be an Army obstacle course instead of a runway for the Cavs. And
Right.
kind of if they played around and thought like, yeah, the 4th seed is our
Sure.
way. Like, and again, a team is playing their best coming down, into the end of the season.
Yeah.
Those are nervy moments especially when it's a 4-5, and this team has played more. They have the talent of a 1 seed. They haven't. They have the effort at times of the number 1 lottery chance team,
Yeah.
and they look like overall and in average they look like a 4 seed that is very even with a 5 seed.
Yeah, I mean, excuses there's no more. I mean, I can
No,
keep on throwing them out. Injuries, lack of continuity on the offense and defense, just because of the trade deadline. All that's out the window. We have a few games left. We just have a couple more chances to get this right and actually try to gain a little momentum going into the playoffs. Atlanta is a little not. I didn't realize they would be our round 1 matchup. Nonetheless, I still think that's obviously better, if we make it through round 1 to play Detroit than New York or Boston. So,
yeah.
I would
And really, it's just
absolutely
really it's Boston because like New
sure,
York has that would be a mental edge thing, I think, with how that series went when the lights were brighter comment came
right.
out, and like where this whole frustration of effort kind of started. So like that's where that concern would be. But the way that they're playing down the stretch is not good. They're like 8-0 over teams that are below 500, but they're like 0-5, 0-6 for the last few stretches of games. Like we're teams that are in the playoff hunt, just like we're struggling against them. Like the Knicks are in a similar boat in how they're playing down the stretch. Boston now with Tatum, and he has no ill effects of that. Looks like no ill effects of that Achilles.
Yeah, crazy.
That's really the true beast of the East that is Boston when they're fully healthy. Well, they got some fortunes with Tatum coming back, and they look like the beast of the East. That's for sure.
Yeah, I just feel like the Cavs just need to win the games they're supposed to win here at the end. The Warriors are banged up. The schedule softens up a little bit. They need to handle their business. They don't need to chase Detroit or New York. I think climbing is going to be the trap. They need to stay put. That's got to be the strategy. You got to keep the rotation tight, and the minutes smart. You don't need style points. You don't need stability. You need to treat every remaining game like it's a dress rehearsal. You need to have late game execution, defensive communication, which is just lacking. The Harden Mitchell hierarchy, and all these reps are going to matter. The Cavs don't need a miracle; they just need discipline. And it's so stupid that we're talking about this so late in the season, and Cavs fans are terrified. We have no idea what's going to happen. This team, like you said, on paper, they look like a 1 seed. They should be a 1 seed, but they are playing like a 4 or 5 seed, and it's insane. Especially the effort is atrocious on defense.
Yeah. Effort is not requested. It is required. And I feel like I'm going to annoy the hell out of you, Ryan, with saying that, because I'm going to keep saying it until whatever run they go on in this playoff run is done. And I understand that a lot of people will blame Kenny Atkinson for the lack of effort. I get it. There is part of the coach that needs to get into them. These guys are adults. Kenny Atkinson is not a babysitter. He is. I think his message is right to this team.
Yeah.
They have to take some onus on it too. It is on Kenny to get this team prepared and motivated and all that, and some of like that'll lead into effort. These guys are adults. There ain't no excuses for them anymore. Right, I know you have a special thing you want to get out before we close out here, and a really special vote if people can get out. I know I put in. I tried. I think I did. I know I clicked on it. I hope it like went through. I know I voted today, but your son is in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah, yeah. I just before we wrapped up today's show, I did want to take a minute just to talk about something that has nothing to do with sports. Just has to do with my 4-year-old son, James. He's a little nature expert. He's right in the middle of the Ranger Rick Jr. Ranger competition, and right now voting is officially underway. We're about a week, I'd say, from finding out who moves on to the next round. If you've been following me on Twitter at DynastyCLE, you've probably seen the videos I've been posting of James talking about animals, the way that most adults, talk about their careers. So break down habitats, diets, behaviors, adaptations of the animal, and he does it with a ton of excitement, and you just something I think you can't teach. He's a natural. It's who he is, and it's how he sees the world. And honestly, I think this is why this competition fits him so perfectly. So I'm gonna do a shameless plug here. This celebrates curiosity. It celebrates conversation. It celebrates a kid who genuinely loves the outdoors, and that's James to his core. So my ask is, I'm not shy about it. Please go vote for James. You can vote once per day, completely free. Once again, this is the Ranger Rick Jr. Ranger competition. The link is in my most recent tweets. Like I said, at DynastyCLE, I've been posting new videos of him talking about some of his favorite animals. If you watch one of them, you'll understand why we entered him. This isn't about winning for the sake of winning. This is about supporting a kid who genuinely, loves nature, who lights up when he talks about wildlife, who absolutely would lose his mind if he got the chance to meet Jeff Corwin. He's been watching him since he was like 2, and he's one of my childhood heroes too. So again, at DynastyCLE is the tweet you'll find there. I think the most recent one is him talking about his toy parrot. It's really cool. Please go vote once per day. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, right after this, fantasy football lovers, we're continuing with the Commissioner's Couch Fantasy Football Podcast on the Insiders Network. We are going to go into our second week of breaking down rookie running backs. We've already gone through 2 weeks of quarterbacks, 3 weeks of receivers, and 1 week of running backs. We're going all the way to the NFL draft. Join us. We'll probably be on at about, we usually say 7. I'll probably be about 7:15. We'll hop on. Join us live as we break down 6 more rookie running backs we like for this draft. Thanks for that plug, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Ranger Rick was Jeff Corbin was one of my childhood heroes too. Yeah. And unfortunately we lost like a guy like Steve Irwin too soon. But they continue his great work. And everybody that's kind of been in that. But I had this subscription to the Ranger Rick magazines and all that. So it definitely near and dear to my heart, and a lot of other people, especially of our age, probably feel the same way. So please go vote for James and go to at DynastyCLE.
I'll retweet it right now so you guys can check it out.
He'll retweet it, so it's at the top of the page at DynastyCLE. Make sure to click on the link every single day. Again, there you can donate money to try to get more votes, but
I'm not asking for that. You can vote once a day for free.
Yes.
That's all I'm asking.
One vote is free every day. There's no need to put any money into it at all. It is just simply supporting a really good kid and a really good kind of campaign there. So that's going to wrap it up for this edition of The Voice of the Land, brought to you by brought to you by Green Sports Cards, also partnered with LPV Productions. Thank you so much to Peter Tulip, who's always behind the scenes and trying to keep things rolling. But thank you to you, Ryan, always setting this up every single week now. And thank you for your conversation, your companionship, friendship, all those types of things. And wishing all the best to James and you guys as a family always, and to everybody out there. So please don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all 3,000. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Go check out at DynastyCLE and please vote. I just retweeted it.
Absolutely. Just retweeted. I'm Kevin O. Live life. All gas, no breaks. We'll see you next time with possibly some bigger news right here on The Voice of the Land.